The Veltrax scientist hunched over the pulsating blue hologram of a double helix, its structure erratic and unpredictable. "They should be weak," he growled in his native tongue. "Sir," his assistant whimpered, antennae twitching, "the genetic suppression agent isn't working." In fact, the display flickered. The human subject cells weren't dying. They were adapting, faster than anything they'd ever seen. "They're using the virus," the assistant said in horror, "like a training exercise." The lead scientist stepped back. "We try to break them, and instead we've armed them." The Veltrax had always prided themselves on their superior intellect and technological advancements. Their conquest of countless worlds had been swift and decisive, often achieved through the deployment of their sophisticated genetic suppression agents. These agents were designed to identify and exploit the weaknesses in a species' DNA, rendering them docile and compliant. However, Earth presented an unexpected challenge. The humans, with their seemingly chaotic and unpredictable nature, had always been considered a primitive species. The Veltrax had anticipated an easy victory. Dr. Zeltar, the lead geneticist, had been tasked with analyzing human DNA to identify potential vulnerabilities. What he found was perplexing. The human genome was a complex tapestry of genetic information, filled with redundancies and anomalies that defied conventional understanding. "Their DNA is unlike anything we've encountered," Zeltar mused, his eyes scanning the data. "It's as if their genetic code is designed to adapt and overcome any obstacle." The assistant, a young Veltrax named Zoran, looked over the data with a mixture of awe and fear. "Sir, if our suppression agent is ineffective, what are our options?" Zeltar pondered for a moment. "We need to understand how their DNA responds to external stimuli. Perhaps by introducing control variables, we can observe their adaptive mechanisms in real time." The decision was made to conduct a series of experiments, exposing human subjects to various stressors and monitoring their genetic responses. The results were astonishing. Not only did the humans survive the experiments, but their bodies also adapted in ways that enhanced their physical and cognitive abilities. One subject, a woman named Sarah, displayed a remarkable increase in muscle density and reflexes after being subjected to a simulated high-gravity environment. Another subject, a man named David, demonstrated enhanced problem-solving skills and memory retention following exposure to a neurotoxin that was intended to impair cognitive function. The Veltrax scientists were both fascinated and alarmed by these findings. It became clear that the human genome possessed a unique capacity for rapid adaptation, turning potential threats into opportunities for growth. As the experiments continued, the Veltrax began to realize the implications of their discovery. By attempting to exploit human weaknesses, they had inadvertently unlocked a potential that could pose a significant threat to their own species. Zeltar convened a meeting with the Veltrax High Council to discuss the findings. "Esteemed members of the Council," he began, "our attempts to suppress the human species have yielded unexpected results. Their DNA is not only resilient, but also capable of transforming adversity into strength. We must reconsider our approach." The council members exchanged uneasy glances. One elder, Vrakis, spoke up. "Are you suggesting that we abandon our conquest of Earth?" Zeltar hesitated before responding. "I am suggesting that we proceed with caution. The humans are not the weak and primitive species we once believed them to be. They possess a potential that could rival our own." The council deliberated for hours, weighing the risks and benefits of continuing their campaign against humanity. In the end, they decided to halt all experiments and reassess their strategy. Back on Earth, the human subjects who had undergone the Veltrax experiments began to notice changes in themselves. Sarah found that she could lift objects twice her weight with ease. David discovered that he could recall complex information with perfect clarity. Others reported similar enhancements, leading to a growing awareness that something extraordinary was happening. As news of these changes spread, a sense of unity and purpose began to emerge among the affected individuals. They formed a group called the Adapted, dedicated to understanding and harnessing their newfound abilities for the betterment of humanity. Unbeknownst to the Veltrax, their attempt to subjugate humanity had sparked a transformation that could alter the course of history. The humans, once considered inferior, were now on the path to becoming something greater. And so, the stage was set for a new chapter in the saga of human evolution, one that would challenge the very foundations of the Veltrax Empire. The Veltrax High Council convened in a chamber of obsidian and light, their bioluminescent forms pulsing with unease. Dr. Zeltar stood before them, the weight of his findings pressing heavily upon his shoulders. "Esteemed counselors," he began, "our attempts to suppress the human species have yielded unforeseen consequences. Their DNA is not only resilient, but also capable of transforming adversity into strength. We must reconsider our approach." A murmur rippled through the chamber. Counselor Vrakis, his tendrils twitching with agitation, leaned forward. "Are you suggesting we abandon our conquest?" Zeltar hesitated. "I'm suggesting we proceed with caution. The humans are not the weak and primitive species we once believed them to be. They possess a potential that could rival our own." The council deliberated, their voices a chorus of concern and skepticism. In the end, they decided to halt all experiments and reassess their strategy. Back on Earth, the human subjects who had undergone the Veltrax experiments began to notice changes in themselves. Sarah found that she could lift objects twice her weight with ease. David discovered that he could recall complex information with perfect clarity. Others reported similar enhancements, leading to a growing awareness that something extraordinary was happening. As news of these changes spread, a sense of unity and purpose began to emerge among the affected individuals. They formed a group called the Adapted, dedicated to understanding and harnessing their newfound abilities for the betterment of humanity. The Veltrax, monitoring these developments from afar, grew increasingly alarmed. Their attempts to suppress humanity had inadvertently sparked a transformation that could alter the course of history. In a desperate bid to contain the situation, the Veltrax deployed a containment unit to Earth, tasked with capturing and studying the Adapted. The unit, led by Commander Zoran, descended upon the planet under the cover of darkness. The Adapted, however, were prepared. Utilizing their enhanced abilities, they evaded capture and launched a counteroffensive, targeting the Veltrax's equipment and communication systems. The conflict escalated, with both sides suffering losses. Amid the chaos, Sarah and David emerged as leaders, guiding the Adapted with a combination of strategic acumen and unwavering resolve. As the battle raged on, the Veltrax began to realize the futility of their efforts. Their advanced technology was no match for humans' adaptability and determination. In a final act of desperation, the Veltrax initiated a planetary quarantine, erecting a barrier around Earth to prevent the spread of the Adapted's influence. The Adapted, undeterred, continued to hone their abilities and prepare for challenges ahead. They knew that the Veltrax would not give up easily, and that the fate of humanity, and perhaps the galaxy, hung in the balance. And so, the stage was set for a new chapter in the saga of human evolution, one that would challenge the very foundations of the Veltrax Empire. Sources: the Veltrax fleet loomed over Earth's atmosphere, their ships casting ominous shadows across the planet's surface. Commander Zoran stood on the bridge of the flagship, his gaze fixed on the blue or below. "Initiate the containment protocol," he ordered. "We cannot allow the Adapted to spread beyond this world." On the ground, Sarah and David rallied the Adapted. They had anticipated this move. Using their enhanced abilities, they coordinated a series of strikes against the Veltrax's communication hubs, disrupting their coordination. The Adapted moved with precision and unity, their actions a testament to their evolved capabilities. As the Veltrax attempted to reestablish control, a new threat emerged. A faction within their ranks, led by Dr. Zeltar, began to question the morality of their mission. "We sought to suppress them," Zeltar addressed his peers, "but in doing so, we've awakened a force we cannot control. Perhaps it's time we reconsider our approach." This internal dissent caused fractures within the Veltrax hierarchy. Some ships began to withdraw, unwilling to partake in what they now saw as an unjust campaign. The remaining forces, however, doubled down, determined to complete their mission. In a bold move, the Adapted launched a direct assault on the Veltrax flagship. Sarah led the charge, her abilities allowing her to breach the ship's defenses. Inside, she confronted Commander Zoran. "Your actions have consequences," she warned. "We won't be your experiment." Zoran, taken aback by her presence, hesitated. "You were never meant to become this powerful," he admitted. "We underestimated you. And now you face the repercussions," Sarah replied, her eyes glowing with determination. "Leave our world or face defeat." Faced with mounting losses and internal discord, Zoran ordered a retreat. The Veltrax ships began to withdraw from Earth's orbit, their mission a failure. The Adapted stood victorious, but they knew this was just the beginning. Their evolution had set them on a new path, one that would shape the future of humanity and its place in the cosmos. As the dust settled, Sarah and David looked to the stars, aware that their journey was far from over. The universe had taken notice, and humanity was ready to meet its destiny. Sources: the Veltrax fleet's retreat left Earth in a tenuous peace, but the scars of the conflict ran deep. Cities lay in ruins, and the global infrastructure was in disarray. Amidst this chaos, the Adapted emerged not just as survivors, but as beacons of hope and catalysts for a new era. Sarah stood atop the remnants of what was once a bustling metropolis, now reduced to rubble and ash. The morning sun cast long shadows over the devastated landscape, highlighting the monumental task ahead. She turned to David, who was coordinating relief efforts with other Adapted members. "We have the power to rebuild," Sarah said, determination evident in her voice. "Not just to restore what was lost, but to create something better." David nodded, his enhanced mind already formulating plans. "Our abilities give us an unprecedented opportunity. We can reshape society, address the flaws that left us vulnerable, and ensure that humanity stands united and strong." The Adapted set to work, their enhanced strength, intellect, and resilience accelerating the reconstruction process. Buildings rose from the ruins with astonishing speed, and advanced technologies, reverse engineered from captured Veltrax equipment, were integrated into daily life. However, the emergence of the Adapted also sparked debates and concerns among the unenhanced population. While many viewed them as saviors, others feared the potential for a new class divide or the rise of a superhuman ruling class. To address these concerns, Sarah and David convened a global summit, inviting leaders, scientists, and citizens from around the world. The gathering was held in a newly constructed hall, symbolizing transparency and unity. Sarah addressed the assembly, her voice resonating with sincerity. "We did not choose these abilities, but we choose how we use them. Our intent is not to rule, but to serve. To use our gifts to uplift all of humanity." David stepped forward, adding, "We propose the formation of an inclusive council comprising both adapted and unenhanced individuals to guide our collective future. Together, we can ensure that these advancements benefit everyone." The proposal was met with cautious optimism. Over time, as the Adapted consistently demonstrated their commitment to equality and collaboration, trust grew. The council was established, and initiatives were launched to share knowledge and integrate enhancements responsibly. Meanwhile, the Veltrax grappled with their defeat and the revelations about humanity's potential. Dr. Zeltar, now viewed by many as a visionary, advocated for a paradigm shift in their approach to other species. "We sought to dominate," Zeltar addressed the Veltrax High Council, "but domination led to our downfall. Cooperation and mutual respect may pave the path to true prosperity." The Council, though divided, agreed to initiate diplomatic overtures toward Earth. They recognized that humanity's rapid evolution could offer insights and opportunities for the Veltrax as well. Back on Earth, as cities flourished and societies evolved, the Adapted continued to explore the extent of their abilities. They ventured into fields like medicine, energy, and space exploration, achieving breakthroughs that had once seemed unattainable. Sarah and David often reflected on their journey, from being subjects of an alien experiment to leaders of a transformed world. They understood that challenges would persist, but they faced the future with hope and resolve. One evening, as they stood beneath a starlit sky, Sarah mused, "It's ironic, isn't it? The Veltrax sought to exploit our weaknesses, but in doing so, they unveiled our greatest strengths." David smiled. "Perhaps adversity is the catalyst for growth. We've been given a chance to redefine our destiny." As humanity embarked on this new chapter, they did so with the knowledge that their resilience had been tested and proven. The challenges of tomorrow remained unknown, but united, They were prepared to face whatever lay ahead. Sources: